Hi, and welcome to the YouTube channel of OneCodeCamp. This is the second video of our TypeScript tutorial series, and previously, we installed TypeScript into our computers and we also learned about TypeScript as a programming language. Now, we need to understand the TypeScript compiler because we need to convert TypeScript into JavaScript because browsers can only understand JavaScript. And that is what we'll learn later on. Now, without further ado, let's start coding. Hello again, everyone. Now, the first thing that we'll do is to create a folder. This folder is where we'll store all of the files and programs that we'll be using throughout this TypeScript tutorial series. In my case, I'm going to name this folder as TypeScript Tutorials. Once you've done this, please open your Visual Studio Code, the IDE program that we installed from the previous video. Now inside your Visual Studio Code, we want to go to extensions over here, and then please search for Live Server and click on Live Server by Ritwik Day and click on Install. What this will do is that any changes to our code will be displayed onto the server. Let's just wait a little bit, in my case, to finish installing. Now once it's finished installing, kindly open up this Explorer tab over here and click on Open Folder. You want to head to the folder or the area that you created your folder. In my case, it's in the desktop, and I've named it TypeScript Tutorials. Click on Select Folder, and this should display onto your Visual Studio Code. Now that we have our created folder opened in our Visual Studio Code, let's start creating the files necessary for our TypeScript tutorial. Firstly, let's create the base structure of our website, which will display onto our browser. So click on this button over here that says New File and type in index.html. Let's go ahead with the boiler template. We do this by typing an exclamation mark, pressing either Tab or Enter. In this title, I will just change this into TypeScript. Add an h1 tag in the body, so h1, and then TypeScript tutorials. I'll also add a script :src. This will link this onto another file. In this case, we're going to link this into an app.js file. We'll link this into a JavaScript file. The reason we're linking this onto a JavaScript file is because browsers cannot understand TypeScript. So when we're going to write in TypeScript, we will then have to convert it into JavaScript, which, as we can see here, is linked to our HTML file. Now, as soon as you've done this, and click on this button down here, click on Go Live. This should open up another browser. Now, I'm going to right-click, Inspect. And into this console over here, we should see error. So the server responded with a, here we have the app.js. As you can see in going back to our live server, we have not created this app.js file yet. And we'll see on this later on, but for now, let me just create another file, and this is where we'll do our TypeScript. We'll create a new file. We will type app.ts, which stands for TypeScript. As you can see here, we have two files, the index.html and the app.typescript. Let us create our first statement, which will display onto the console over here. Now to do this, let's say console.log. Most common statement when you're learning a new programming language is hello world. So this is the format right here. If you're aware with JavaScript, it's the exact same thing when you're going to write it in TypeScript. As previously we did mention that TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. Now, how can we convert this into our app.js or JavaScript file? To do this, we'll use something known as the Typescript compiler. So kindly open this button over here, this panel, or you can type in Ctrl+J to open this terminal, and then make sure you're in the right file path. So in my case, I open up the desktop and into the folder that we just created. In my case, it's Typescript tutorials. Now we want to type TSC, which stands for Typescript compiler, space, and then the name of our Typescript file, app.ts. Now, as soon as we enter this, notice we don't have any app.js or the JavaScript file created yet. But to automatically convert this app.ts, so this is the name of our file, with the Typescript extension. It will just create the same name of the file, but with this time a JavaScript extension. Let me enter this. Now we have app.js over here. Console.log hello world is the exact same thing as we typed in our Typescript file. Now let me go back to our browser, and here we have hello world. So that is good. But notice now that it actually took us a lot of steps, and the downside with this that we have to keep on compiling Typescript onto JavaScript. So if I made a change, for example, going back to our Visual Studio Code, let me lower this down. If I made a change, let me also close the JavaScript file. If I made a change to this Typescript file, let's say I said hi world instead. If I go back to our app.js, it is still hello world. I would have to go back to my Typescript file and then type again the same command, Typescript app.ts. Okay, as soon as we see this prompt again, that means it is successful. Going back to our app.js, we have now hi world. It is quite a lengthy process, but we have to first type in our change in the Typescript file and then go to a terminal and type the Typescript compiler. And then I'll go back to our browser. We have hi world. So there's something that we could do with this. We have to add the watch flag. So going back to our Visual Studio Code, we can simply type the Typescript compiler app.ts. Then we'll add a dash and the letter W, which stands for watch. Now let me enter this. So starting compilation in watch mode. Now it means that it will consistently track this app.ts file as long as this terminal is running. Now let me say I'll add another console log statement and type in hello world. I'll type it again. Now in the compilation, we found 0 errors and watching for file changes. Let me go back to our app.js. Here we have that exact same change, and we didn't type the Typescript compiler as we did previously. Now let me go back to our browser over here. Now hi world and hello world again. Now we have these changes saved. As we can see, we've added the hi world previously, and then we've added another console log statement. The first process, going back to our Visual Studio Code, we are currently in watch mode. If you want to shut down your watch mode, type in Ctrl+C. Then it will bring you back. So the first process is when we created the change. Let me, for example, just copy paste this. We have to type in TSC, then app, and the name of our Typescript with the .ts file extension. Enter. Going back to our JavaScript file, we have the changes now saved. But if I made another change, for example, let's say this one, we have to type this command again. So instead, we have the other method. We just type in the same command, TSC, app.typescript, then we add a dash and W, which stands for watch mode. Let me execute this. Now this will automatically pay attention for any changes. It will keep track if your TypeScript file is the same content with your JavaScript file. Now let's go back to our JavaScript. Now we have the exact same change, even the name over here, hello world change. Let me go into our browser, hello world change, hello world again. And any changes you make, as long as the terminal is open and it has the .-watch flag, it will keep on compiling that TypeScript into JavaScript. And again, to shut it down, you'll just type Ctrl and C together. And that's it for compiling in TypeScript, using the TypeScript compiler and converting TypeScript into JavaScript. Just because browsers can only understand JavaScript. I will learn more about the syntax in TypeScript later on. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you on the next one.